Hey guys, welcome back to the Storm channel, and I hope you're having a great day, having a great week, having a great whatever you're doing right now, and just hoping that everything is doing great, and hope that you had a great Christmas weekend, or holiday weekend, depending on whatever you're celebrating. So yeah, since it's the end of the year, I wanted to, take a look back over 2021 and look at some of the best games that I played this year. Right, so keep in mind, I am a patient gamer. This means that most of the best games I played this year aren't from this year, but from previous years. So it's kind of a mix of between both, more lots of older games and 2021 games. But yeah, so let's get into the 8 best games that I played, or well, almost beat, because I usually count things by how I beat them, but or some that I've gone well into playing. So yeah, some of these I just had so much fun time playing with them that I never got to actually beating them, but they've made it onto the list. Also, as a matter of fact, I'm thinking of doing a Storm experience on a couple of these, so they will come out eventually, but that's gonna take time. So, but comment down below which of these games you'd rather want to see a Storm experience on. And yeah, so from the numbers 8 to 5 will be ranked in order, whilst the top 4 can be interchanged depending on any mood really that I'm feeling. So first off, Borderlands, the first one. Yeah, this game is old, but seeing the Legendary Collection on sale on Switch intrigued me to get it, and 100% worth it. This is a very fun open world shooter and runs amazingly well on Switch. Combat is great, and that is the primary aspect of Borderlands, along with the looting. My friends don't have Borderlands on Switch, so I played it alone, and even playing it in single player is really fun. Taking on hordes of bad guys and looting their loot, fun, very fun. The cycle doesn't get old, and when I get around to the critically acclaimed Borderlands 2, I'm 100% sure that it will get even better. Next up, we got Guilty Gear Ascent Core R+. Yeah, I got this since I was hyped for Strive, and seeing Guilty Gear Strive made me really hype, and I wanted to play a Guilty Gear, and so I got a cheap one to keep me entertained until I one day get Strive. Or the newest Guilty Gear whenever it comes out. That's probably the most likely outcome due to how fast, or how some fighting games die out quickly when the new one comes out. But yeah, this is a 2D anime fighter, which means that it is difficult. Combat is fluid, and there aren't so many outlandish and pages of combats to memorize, but rather you can just move the joystick and press some buttons and see what stuff does. I remember those inputs for next time. Also, the characters are fun. I am a Mei main, but Sol and Faust are also really fun characters to play with, and the fact that there are a wide range of characters, and all of them being so unique, makes this a really solid fighting game for those who want to get into a well-established fighting franchise. For number 6, we have the first 2021 game, Monster Hunter Rise. Now, this is my first Monster Hunter game, and wow, simply wow. This game is really one of the best games I've played. Environments are fun to traverse, and the monsters to hunt are equally as fun, but speaking of traversal, that's where Rise shines. Movement is fluid and well made. The wire bug helps you get up into the air and dodge monster attacks. Palamutes, your doggo friend, also helps you get to across the map faster and in fashion, in style, chasing down those monsters. But yeah, it's looting mechanics that are great, encouraging you to hunt and collect more resources in order for you to level up your gear. Oh, and back to the combat, it is so much fun. Figure out the monsters, patterns of how they attack, how they even react to certain situations. All in all, this game is a solid pickup because you can play it for hours on end, or simply play it for a couple of minutes and go on with your day. Strongly recommended. Number 5 took me for a wild ride, and that was Inscription. Look, I don't want to talk too much about Inscription because it's best experienced completely blind. But on the surface, it is a deck-building roguelike with escape room elements, but beneath it, it is so much more. In general, if you like card games, get it. If you don't like card games, still, get it. The game made me like card games, and I don't like card games. All in all, Inscription takes you on an unforgettable ride, and I highly recommend it. Now for the top 4. Like I said, these can be changed depending on circumstances. The first 3 that I'll talk about have potential to be number 1, but they aren't, either because the game isn't done yet, or I haven't beaten them yet, and one of the ones that I haven't beaten is Persona 5 Royal. I am 75 hours in Royal, and I started it way back in January, got to a difficult palace, and if you know which palace I'm talking about, you know what I mean. Stopped, but had to come back. The game is such a good RPG. Yes, I get it, turn-based combat isn't everyone's thing, but I really enjoyed it here. Persona 5's art style helps make this game what it is. Combat is flashy, the characters are given so much character, and the story is, well, it's intriguing, it's very interesting, but it's Persona's flair that just makes this game so good. The game also goes constantly on sale nowadays, and the game gives you a lot of bang for your buck. I mean, I'm 75 hours in and I'm still not finished with it, and there's a lot more to get through. Along with that, Royal has extra content that neatly fits into the main story of the original Persona 5, and with quality of life changes that make this game so good, like when you have your gun, it doesn't run out of bullets after. I mean, you do because in the original Persona 5, when you had the bullets, like for your gun, you only had limited number for each palace, but here it gets refreshed after each battle, which is really, it makes it much more convenient. And yeah, ultimately a very fun turn-based game, characters that you can befriend and interact with that are actually very well developed, and no, definitely the music. I just remember the music, oh my goodness. The music of Persona 5 Royal is S tier. The soundtrack goes above and beyond in terms of what it means to have a good soundtrack. But yeah, Persona 5 Royal is a 10 out of 10 for me. Next up, we have a game that is not done yet. Deltarune. Toby Fox released Chapter 2 this year and took everything that was good about Deltarune Chapter 1 and made it better by a lot. Like Inscription, I don't want to talk too much about Deltarune because of how much of a ride it takes you on, and also the game isn't complete yet. He's released the 2 first chapters for free, and there are 5 more chapters. If we're going by like what it says that there are going to be 7 chapters, that might be a minor spoiler, but yeah, just play the game, it's really good. Toby has perfected the bullet hell turn-based RPG combat, written some amazing characters that are part of a fascinating story, and has also written some of the best jokes in gaming, and overall crafted a world that is just so fun to interact with. And also, okay, like Persona 5, the music here is just S tier deluxe. This is one of the best of 2021, and if this keeps up, which I know it will, Deltarune can surpass many people's expectations and become one of the greatest of all time. The final 2 on this list are from one series that I got back into in October. One I haven't beaten yet, and the other I have. This, of course, is Resident Evil, and we'll start off with Resident Evil 4. I'm not really sure how far I'm in, but all I can say is that the game is amazing. I play games and take into account how they were for when they were released and compare them to today's standards, and after taking me an hour to get used to its old controls, I love the game. Simple enough. Resident Evil 4's intro is goated, and Leon is just amazing. His one-liners and vibe is just really well written, and the enemies in the game are really smart. They dodge your shots, run at you, and mutter some great Spanish lines. If you understand Spanish, you'll have a good laugh of it, and it kind of makes it even better. Or if you don't understand Spanish, then you're like, oh, okay, yeah, they're saying stuff that I don't understand. I'm not welcome here. The game is what many called the change in the Resident Evil formula, but this game is wow, it's good. It's really, really good. It is less of a survival horror and more action-based, but that doesn't make it bad or any less Resident Evil. Sure, it's not so much the typical Resident Evil formula from the first 3 games, but it's fun, and this village is amazing. Once I do finish this game, do expect a Storm experience on it. And finally, we have Resident Evil 2 Remake. That was the first Storm experience on the channel, and I don't want to repeat too much from that. You can watch it for yourself, but I'll just do a quick summary, a quick rundown of RE2 Remake. It is such a good horror game, where exploration is key, managing resources essential, and shooting enemies is a blast. RE2 is such a modern masterpiece in the survival horror genre, and perfectly remade what the Resident Evil 2 experience from top-down to third-person. This game is my personal favorite of all time, and let's see how long it can stay at the top, because after I finish and complete more video games. But yeah, that's all from me. I hope you enjoyed a Patient Gamer's favorite games of 2021. Comment your favorite games that you played this year, and yes, they can be from any year or from this year. Anyway, I just want to see which games you found, which you enjoyed the most. But yeah, I thought of making a video for New Year's Eve, but I kind of want to relax a bit and spend time with my family and friends. But so yeah, I'll say it now. Have a happy new year, and I hope everything goes well, and hope that you have a splendid 2022. And yeah, I'll see you in the next video, which will be in 2022, the 1st of January 2022. So yeah, with that, hasta luego and storm out.